Here we go! The episode begins with Woman with Red Hair talking to Son of Fire about how they're gonna take Winterfell, which I'm pretty sure is the Stark's castle. Then Son of Fire walks away abruptly. These two have a really weird relationship. A man wearing a helmet tells Son of Fire that half his men have deserted his army. Then they walk into the woods and see a woman hung on a tree. Son of Fire looks sad and tells his men to cut her down. Then another man wearing a helmet tells Son of Fire that Woman with Red Hair just ran away on her horse. Okay, I'm not really familiar with Son of Fire or his storyline at all, but things look pretty rough for him right now, right? I know he had a wife that he cheated on with Woman with Red Hair, so maybe the lady hung on the tree is his wife? Maybe she committed suicide when she found out that he was banging Woman with Red Hair? And maybe Woman with Red Hair ran away because she was like, oh no, his wife committed suicide? I need to get out of here before he hurts me or something. Maybe. We cut to Bastard King telling Heavyset Guy about the Dead Army. I guess he just saw them last episode. Bastard King is just now realizing that the only way to kill the dead dudes is with Valyrian steel or dragon glass. Bastard King mentions that he is the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, so he must not be King of the North yet. When the heck does he become king? Heavyset Guy asks Bastard King to send him to Old Town so he can become a maester, which is what he was doing in season 7 with all those books. Heavyset Guy says that if his wife stays at the wall, then she and Ladies Man's baby will die. So I'm guessing that the Night's Watch guys want them dead because they're wildlings. Bastard King says they can go, and then Heavyset Guy rides away with his wife and his baby. We cut to a huge army led by Son of Fire approaching a castle. Then we immediately cut to Red-Haired Queen picking the lock on a door and walking outside. Then we cut to Cleavage Lover walking around, and he sees Son of Fire's army in the distance. He runs and tells Tall Woman that they're coming. Red-Haired Queen is still wandering around, and she goes into that one tower that weird Raven kid got pushed out of when he caught Short-Haired Queen and Handsome Man in Armor having sex in season 1. Son of Fire is getting his army ready when an even bigger army comes running at them from the castle. This army is like 3 times bigger than Son of Fire's, but nevertheless, he and his army draw their swords and prepare to fight. Red-Haired Queen is watching from the tower, so she must have somehow knew this was going to happen. Is she in charge right now? It really seems like she was being held prisoner and then broke out to watch the battle. We cut to the aftermath of the fight, and Son of Fire has somehow survived, but he looks pretty hurt. 2 men approach him and start attacking him, but he fights them off after getting his legs sliced open. Then Tall Woman walks up to him, and Son of Fire asks if a guy named Bolton has women fight for him. So some guy named Bolton is in charge. Is that Angry Eye's dad? In season 4, Angry Eye's dad says that he was the Warden of the North, so maybe he's still in charge, and that's why Red-Haired Queen is being held captive. Tall Woman introduces herself and says that Son of Fire killed her old boss with blood magic. So this guy is a magician? She sentences him to death and asks if he has any last words. He just says, "Go on, do your duty." Really, dude? You're a magician, a profession that requires you to be a showman, and you can't come up with anything better than do your duty? I mean, I guess it's kind of funny that your last word ever is duty, but at least say something cool like, "See you in hell," or "If you kill me, I'll turn into a ghost and haunt you," or something. Anyways, Tall Woman kills him, and then we cut to Angry Eyes. A badly wounded guy is trying to surrender to him, but Angry Eyes just stabs him in the back. So Angry Eyes is back to being a jerk. The camera zooms out and we see the extent of the slaughter. This is the end of Son of Fire's army. We cut to Red-Haired Queen walking back into her castle. She keeps trying to hide from everyone, so she really must be a prisoner. But then she gets caught by a girl with a bow and arrow, and Green-Eyed Guy is there too. He looks really grungy, like he could be the front man for an emo band right now. Red-Haired Queen says she'd rather die than be a prisoner any longer, and Bow and Arrow Girl says that Red-Haired Queen can't die until she makes babies with Angry Eyes. Then Green-Eyed Guy throws Bow and Arrow Girl off of the balcony that they're standing on, and she falls to her death. There you go, Green-Eyed Guy. Then the gates open and Angry Eyes returns to the castle. Green-Eyed Guy grabs Red-Haired Queen and they start running. They climb up on the castle wall, which is like 100 feet in the air, and they look like they're about to jump. Holy crap, they do jump! What was that? Look how far this jump is! How can they both survive that? Is there just a huge mound of snow on the ground that cushions their fall? We cut to this guy who looks like a mean version of Mr. Bean. He smacks these little girls with a stick. The first 2 girls scream, but the 3rd girl doesn't react at all. This makes him mad, so he keeps hitting her with the stick until it breaks. Mean Mr. Bean dismisses the other girls and then punches the 3rd girl. She falls to the ground, and then she looks up and takes off her mask. It's Young Sad Girl! She stabs Mean Mr. Bean in the face. As he lies on the floor dying, Young Sad Girl tells him that he was the first person on her list because he killed her friend. Mean Mr. Bean is on the verge of death, and then young sad girl slits his throat. Hey, I finally got to see one of young sad girl's masks. We cut to a weird temple full of people's faces, and young sad girl puts her little girl mask back in its spot. Third person guy shows up with his friend. They tell young sad girl that she shouldn't have killed Mean Mr. Bean. Third person guy says that now a debt is owed to the many-faced god, and then he pulls out a vial of poison. But instead of giving it to young sad girl, he drinks it himself. Young sad girl is so sad. She's crying and screaming, but then, as if the scene couldn't get any weirder, third person guy just shows up behind her totally alive. Young sad girl takes the mask off the poisoned person on the ground. And then she takes off another mask, and then another, and another, until she pulls off a mask to reveal her own face. Then young sad girl starts losing her vision and her eyes turn white. What was that? That was like a weird nightmare. At first, I thought that the Faceless Men was just a group of people that wore people's faces as masks and killed people, but now it seems like they also are involved with magic? Also, those masks are way too realistic. How can I ever be sure that a character is who they say they are? I'm having some serious trust issues right now. We cut to Handsome Man in Armor saying goodbye to a guy in a wheelchair. This woman says goodbye to this blonde girl and kisses her on the lips. Oh, this is the lady that kills Short-Haired Queen's daughter by poisoning her with a kiss. And this is the poison kiss. Handsome Man in Armor is like, okay weirdos, we're out of here. And then he gets on a boat. Greasy Mullet Guy tells this girl with a bra outside of her dress that he's leaving, and she makes it sound like they've been hooking up. On the boat, Short-Haired Queen's daughter is talking to Handsome Man in Armor. So here's a question. Do all of Short-Haired Queen's blonde children know that Handsome Man in Armor is actually their dad? Or does Short-Haired Queen tell them that their dad is dead or something? Handsome Man in Armor sits down with his daughter, and it actually seems like he's gonna tell her that he's her dad. But before he can even get it out, she says that she already knows. She says that she's glad he's her father. Well, that immediately answers my question. Then, Short-Haired Queen's daughter's nose starts bleeding. The poison is hitting her fast. She passes out in Handsome Man in Armor's arms. Then we see the woman who kissed her wipe the poison off her lips and drink an antidote. We cut to Peter Dinklage telling Scar Guy and this guy wearing leather pants that neither of them are fit to be with Legolas Queen romantically. Then Biracial Emma Watson brings an injured horny dude over who tells Peter Dinklage he isn't allowed to be there. Biracial Emma Watson says that Peter Dinklage saved her life and Legolas Queen's life. Apparently these guys just fought some army and Legolas Queen is lost somewhere. Peter Dinklage says he wants to help find her. Leather Pants tells Peter Dinklage to instead stay in town and help govern it until they find Legolas Queen. Leather Pants seems to be in charge around here, but I have no idea who he is. We cut to Peter Dinklage talking to Bald Guy. Last time I saw these two together in season 2, they hated each other, but now they're getting along. We cut to Legolas Queen with her dragon. The dragon looks like it's hurt, and Legolas Queen is trying to convince it to take her home. The dragon is being a moody jerk and doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. I'm guessing the dragon is a teenager in dragon years. Legolas Queen walks away, and then a long-haired man on a horse approaches her, and then a few more show up. Legolas Queen takes off her ring and drops it for some reason. Then a huge army of long-haired men on horses show up. Isn't this her army? She's acting scared, but I thought the muscular long-haired men were her friends. There's like thousands of these guys and they completely surround her. We cut to a woman in a jail cell. A nun-looking lady walks in and tells her to confess. Oh my gosh, it's Short-Haired Queen. Why is she in prison right now? Now she's talking to Old Homeless Sparrow. She says that she sinned and she wants to be clean again. This is the longest I've ever seen Short-Haired Queen's hair, and she looks like she's been in prison for a while. She starts confessing her sins to Old Homeless Sparrow. She tells him that she slept with her cousin. Wait, did she really have sex with her cousin? Or is this like her way of trying to trick God into forgiving her for having sex with her brother? Old Homeless Sparrow asks if she has slept with Handsome Man in Armor, and she very angrily denies it. Then Old Homeless Sparrow tells Short-Haired Queen that she has to stand trial to make sure she's not lying. She begs to see her son, I'm guessing Justin Bieber, and Old Homeless Sparrow says she can after her Walk of Atonement. This is like what Margarine almost had to do in season 6 before she married Justin Bieber. We see Short-Haired Queen getting bathed by some nuns, and then they take a knife and start chopping off her hair. And thus, Short-Haired Queen is born. The nuns take her outside in front of a huge group of people. Old Homeless Sparrow tells the crowd that Short-Haired Queen is a sinner looking for forgiveness. Short-Haired Queen keeps looking in the distance at the castle where she used to live. I wonder how she ended up here. The nuns rip her clothes off. They're gonna make her walk naked through this huge group of people. Short-Haired Queen walks through the crowd and everyone stares at her. Can you imagine being an actress and finding out that you have to walk naked in front of hundreds of strangers who are being paid to just stare at you? Ugh. Acting is weird. People start yelling awful things at Short-Haired Queen as she walks by. What an insane fall from grace this is. Short-haired queen was literally the queen, and now everyone just gets to watch her walk down the street naked and yell at her. People are spitting on her, throwing stuff at her, and one guy even runs up to her and flashes his penis. It's really no wonder that short-haired queen is so relentless in season 7. I would hate everyone after going through this too. This Walk of Atonement lasts a really long time before she finally arrives at her castle. The people there are still treating her like she's queen. What is going on? This guy introduces short-haired queen to Shaq, and his eyes look all messed up again like in season 7. Shaq picks her up and carries her away. So she is still the queen. Why did everybody just let her stay in prison for so long? And why didn't they stop the crazy religious folks from making her do the weird Walk of Atonement? Also, who are these religious people? I've only seen them in the last 2 episodes that I've watched. I have no idea where they came from, and I don't know how they have so much power. We cut to Bastard King telling his bodyguard that the wildlings will not fight for Son of Fire. The gate opens and woman with red hair enters. Bastard King and his bodyguard ask her if Son of Fire is alive, and she just walks away. We cut inside to Bastard King looking sad at his desk. A boy comes in and says one of the wildlings knows his uncle, so Bastard King runs outside immediately. He walks through a crowd gathered in a circle, and inside the crowd is just a sign that says traitor. Bastard King turns around and this guy stabs him in the chest. He says, "For the watch," and then another guy stabs him, and then another, and then another. Like 7 guys stab Bastard King, and then he goes down. Then that little boy walks up to him and stabs him too. Bastard King lays down bleeding in the snow, and then he dies. And then the episode ends. Holy cow, what a finale. If I didn't already know stuff from future seasons, I would think that Bastard King, Red-Haired Queen, and Green-Eyed Guy were all dead. But they all are alive in season 7 somehow. So Bastard King got killed by the Night's Watch guys because they did not like that he saved the wildlings and they wanted him gone. Which probably means that the person that resurrects him is a wildling. Maybe. I don't know. I really want to know how they made Green-Eyed Guy and Red-Haired Queen survive that huge jump off the castle. That was like a 100-foot fall. And Young Sad Girl's storyline is insane. I am so confused by the Faceless Men right now. She's going blind? She just started going blind at the end of this episode. But in season 6, when I watched that season 6 episode, she looks totally fine. So who knows what's going on there? I feel like the first episode of season 6 is just an hour-long episode of everybody going around saying, "I'm fine, it was a prank, I'm actually alive and not blind." This episode I'm gonna give a 9. I'll give a 9 out of 10. This was a crazy episode that I really enjoyed watching a lot. A lot of really insane stuff happened. I got very confused. All in all, very good choice, my friends. Now it's time to go into these boxes and pick the next 5 episodes you will be voting on. Here we go. Season 2, Episode 4. Season 3, Episode 1. Season 1, Episode 2. Season 5, Episode 7. And finally, Season 6, Episode 5. I've gotten a lot of great responses about the poll. You guys seem to like the poll. I'm gonna keep doing the poll. It should be somewhere right here-ish. So go ahead and click on that, vote for me to see me in the next round of American Idol. No, vote to see which episode I watch next. Here's a graphic to show you which episodes I've already seen to help you make your decision. Some of you guys are just the nicest people in the world and you supported me on Patreon last week, so I have some shout outs to do. Here we go. Cardinal Doomsday. Nice name. I'm a big fan of the St. Louis Cardinals, so I dig the name. Fabian Kester. Your last name is almost Jester, which is a funny person, which funny stuff is good. Hey, I really blew that one. Giovanni. Giovanni is a nice, simple one-word name. I love it. Beyonce, Giovanni, Prince, Cleopatra. That's the kind of company that you're in. Suniva Rodney. Suniva, much cooler name than Steve. I'm very jealous of your cool name. Parmetheus Ray. That is also a very cool name. I'm not sure if that's your real name, but if it is, congratulations. Rob Bohannon. Bohannon. Do you get that a lot? Jacqueline Rossell. Not Russell, Rossell. Cool last name. and Catherine Gifford. That sounds like a famous person name. Are you famous? Do I have a famous subscriber? If you guys want to support me on Patreon, there is a link in the description and there's a button at the end of this video that you can click on and check out. There are some interesting rewards, one of which is a shout out at the end of my video. Another one is I'll buy you pizza if you're ever in New York. There's also like I'll make you a t-shirt. I'll send you a video and tell you a secret about myself. There's a lot of cool stuff, so go check it out. Okay, bye!